Morning, everybody. It's Robert, Hustle Nation right here, and I got Tyson, the real estate pit bull. Yep, he thinks it's time to go for the WALK. He knows how to spell too. And today it's kind of I'm thinking about. I had a goal of 5,000 a month coming in, and figured that I'd have a couple of employees doing maintenance, and after everything was said and done, I'd probably net 40,000 a month, and that's what I was going to retire on. And it's a great goal, good numbers and everything like that, and definitely doable, and have a great lifestyle, with the money coming in and everything. And a buddy of mine, kind of pulled me to the side and said, "Hey man, let me ask you this. Do you really need that much money?" And so I've been contemplating it for the last 2 weeks. And I would really enjoy working. I enjoy hustling. I enjoy, finding or having an idea. Because here's the thing is that, it's pretty cool to get a paycheck. You show up, you do what you're told, you take pride in your job and everything, and then boom, Friday or once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever it is, the pay period ends, and then you get a paycheck, okay? Oh yeah, you got to show up, stay off your phone, all these kind of things. Well then, it's kind of like the next step is you do something extra. You got a side hustle. You go buy a lawnmower, Facebook Marketplace, $100, I even put it out there one time. I was looking to buy a push mower, and one of my friends said, "Hey, I'm moving. I've got one you can have for free." So, got that, cut a few yards with some money and everything like that, and that's pretty cool, So then the next thing is that you, all of a sudden, you kind of start a business, like a handyman service. That's what my construction business started from, so to speak. And so, you get you some business cards printed up, and then you get your LLC formed and do all of that kind of stuff and everything. And so now we're in business. And so you start advertising, and all of a sudden, ring, ring, hello? And man, you got your first job that you get paid for. Way cool. And it's like this little baby starts to grow. It's like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. I mean, it just blossoms, And all of this stuff happens and whatnot. And you see this thing start to grow. And it is a really cool feeling. And before you know it, you got a little bit of money saved up in the bank. Now you're asking yourself, what do I do with this? And 9 times out of 10, people take that money and spend it. And that's where the huge downfall comes in. Because what needs to happen with that money is it needs to purchase some assets. And let's define what an asset is. An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. An asset is not something that takes money out of your pocket. Please don't be confused. Your personal residence is not an asset. If you do the math, and this is what I mean by that. $100,000 house, 30-year mortgage, you're going to end up paying, I think, close to about $300,000 for it. Well, in 30 years, you better hope that that thing's doubled in value and gone from $100,000 to $300,000. Otherwise, you're at what we call a negative cash flow. It's not. I'm very simple-minded. I keep thinking redneck terms. Make it simple. Okay, when you have more money going out than you have coming in, that's bad business. Not the way to do it. And so the thing is that a personal residence is not an asset, okay? It can be. You can rent the rooms out, you can move out of it, you can Airbnb it, you can rent it, for more than what the payment is. It'll cash flow. And so it has a possibility, but it is not. Okay, the automobiles that we drive, unless you're doing Uber, Lyft, or making deliveries with them, they are a negative cash flow, but they're a necessary evil for sure. Two things in this world that you've got to have, generally speaking, unless you live in a big city where your job is close by. You need to have a phone and you need to have dependable transportation. And I have seen not having dependable transportation wreck people's lives because they were not able to get to work. There's something that happens. I don't make the rules, folks, but I do have to play by them. So the thing about it is that transportation is part of it, just the same as having a phone. I don't recall knowing anybody that has made a fortune in the last 20 years that does not have a smartphone. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying that I haven't met that person yet. And I've met a lot of successful people, and I search successful people out, and I like to talk with them. And if I can't get close enough to talk to them, I will observe them and watch what they do. And I don't see a whole lot of people doing the flip phone thing that are in a position that I want to trade places with. Not saying that that's bad, okay? It's not a judgment call. It's just an observation of reality. So all of a sudden now we're into this situation where we are either making what we call residual income or passive income. Now I will say this, one of the most lucrative business that you can get involved with and one of the oldest that you can get involved with is what we call insurance. Car insurance, health insurance, house insurance, property insurance, liability insurance. There's all kinds of insurance. And that racket is so mathematically correct in the sense that you can quantify virtually anything. And a lot of times you can go to work for an insurance company that when you're strictly on commission, you would call a residual income, which means that you get paid every time somebody pays that premium. So if you were to sell me an automobile policy, and we'll just say it's $2,000 a year, so that comes to what, $175, $165 a month, that you would get a certain amount of that payment each month paid to you. Well, that's probably only going to be $5 or $10. That ain't a whole bunch. Well, guess what? You get 100 of me, then it becomes something. And so I say all of this in the sense that you have to get to a point where you are making money while you are sleeping. You are having to make money, or you are making money while not putting forth any effort. And here's the thing that you're going to hear about in business being talked about is when we call scale. Okay, that's when we expand. All right, me personally, folks, I can only swing one hammer at a time. I know, hard to believe, but I can't. I can only swing one hammer at a time, okay? So if I'm building a house and I need to double the amount or cut in half the amount of time that it takes to build the house, generally speaking, I need to hire one other person, okay? Now, if it's going to take 6 months and I hire that one other person, it should take about 3 months. If I hire it, it should take about a month and a half if everything works out and the math is correct and everything. But you get what I'm saying. That's what we call scaling a business, okay? The thing that ends up happening is that now we have more things to contend with. We have people that come with problems, that come with families, that come with home lives, kids, transportation, all kinds of stuff, all right? So what we need to be doing is we need to figure out a way to create some passive income or a residual income. And so the thing that has to occur is you have to be making money while you're sleeping, okay? And this is if you want to go after what we call financial independence, and you can do this with a job. You don't have to quit a job and be an entrepreneur, okay? The thing about it is that, and I'm not big on cussing, but this term is absolutely perfect. It's when you have fuck you money. And that is when you've reached a point where you can say, you know what, I don't have to put up with this any longer. I don't have to take what you're giving me. I don't have to accept this. I don't have to accept this cut in salary. I don't have to accept this new health insurance that costs more and covers less. I don't have to accept any of that. You know why? Because I'm financially independent. I can go out on my own. I don't need you. And there is a tremendous amount of freedom. You're able to feel that, when you're able to say that, and when you're able to know that. And that's what we all want, because then the freedom becomes choices. What is it that I want to do? I don't want to go in today. That's fine. I don't want to work here anymore. That's fine. I quit. You know, I don't recommend anybody, leaving somebody high and dry and not giving at least 2 weeks notice. However, there's a lot of power in knowing I don't need this place. I used to be a millwright in a foundry, and we worked 13 days straight, 1 day off. A lot of overtime. Anything over 8 hours in 1 day was considered to be overtime. And so a lot of the guys that I worked with had financial habits that they had to be there. They could not take any time off. They could not go and look for another job somewhere else, because they were in a position that they had to work all of those hours. And I never did. When I got into the maintenance department, my financial habits did not change. I still put a certain amount a week away and everything, and I ended up finishing my last 2 semesters in college with a degree in industrial electricity and electronics, and I went to school full time. Why? Because I had saved up enough money to live for 6 months without having to work, and guess what? I had all of that beep money. So that's where the freedom comes at, folks, is the money game shortened in 200 million gazillion ways to get there. However, you got to create some type of passive income or residual income that continues to pay you without you actually putting forth much physical work, okay? Because you and I are only capable of doing so much in a certain amount of time. It's Rental Robert with the Hustle Nation. Have yourself a fantastic day. Be productive, be profitable, and figure out who's got your money.